Hi there, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Gardener, and thank you for listening. I'm your host, Jennifer Ebling. It's November 26th. Today, we celebrate the man who proved plants have a circadian rhythm. We'll also learn about the nurseryman who helped establish Rochester, New York as a city in a forest. We'll remember the pioneer seedsman who started the largest mail-order seed company in the world. And we'll celebrate Thanksgiving with some verses about this time of year. And we grow that garden library today with a book of beautiful fruit prints. And then we'll wrap things up with the story of a woman who discovered the importance of biological diversity to water health. But first, I just want to remind you to head on over to the website for the show. It's thedailygardener.org, and then sign up for my free Friday newsletter. If you do that, every Friday, you'll get an email from me, a little newsletter that has a personal update, garden-related items for your calendar. Every book that's featured in the Grow That Garden library is featured in that newsletter. So they're all right there in a very handy list. And then you'll also get gardener gift ideas, garden-inspired recipes, and exclusive updates about the show. And every single week, one lucky subscriber wins a book from the Grow That Garden library bookshelf. So take advantage of that. In today's curated news, there was a great post that was featured in the Chicago Tribune recently, and it was written by Tim Johnson of the Chicago Botanic Garden. The title was, "Are Your Plants Wilting and Dry Despite Regular Watering?" Tim says, keep tabs on these side effects of improper watering practices. So if you suspect you might be watering the wrong way or just not watering successfully, check out this article. You can find it in the Facebook group for the show. All of the articles that I curate and the original blog posts that I write for the show can be found in the free Facebook group called the Daily Gardener Community. So you never have to track down links or take notes. The next time you're on Facebook, just search for Daily Gardener Community, where you'd search for a friend and request to join. I'd love to meet you in the group. Here's today's brevities. Today is the birthday of the French geophysicist, astronomer, and most notably, chronobiologist, Jean-Jacques de Mairan. Mairan's work as a chronobiologist is a job that one rarely hears about these days. In 1729, Mairan put together an experiment showing the existence of a circadian rhythm in plants. Mairan took a Mimosa pudica plant, the heliotrope commonly called the sensitive plant, and put it in constant darkness in a cupboard. All the while, he recorded the plant's behavior. And what do you know? The plant had a natural rhythm of opening and closing its leaves, even if it couldn't absorb sunlight. Now, Mairan didn't think that the plant had an internal clock, but he did believe that it could attune itself to the sun, even if the plant was blocked from it. No matter the accuracy of Mairan's conclusions, his work was onto something, and it established the foundation for chronobiology, or the internal circadian clock. And today is the anniversary of the death of the German-American horticulturist and nurseryman George Ellwanger, who died on this day, November 26th, in 1906. In the mid-1800s, George Ellwanger and his Irish business partner and experienced nurseryman, Patrick Barry, claimed their Rochester, New York nursery was the largest in the world. Built on 650 acres along Mount Hope Avenue, George started his business on land that boasted an old pear orchard. A Renaissance man, George also started writing books on a variety of topics, from gardening and gastronomy to poetry. A perpetual seeker, George returned to Europe to hunt for fine trees to propagate in America. The fruit of George's vision is evident throughout Rochester, but perhaps no more so than in the grand European beeches that dot the city streets and parks. The beeches include several unique species like fern-leaved, copper, purple, and weeping beeches. Today, Rochester has 168 different trees within the city limits, and Charles Sprague Sargent dubbed Rochester, New York, the city in a forest. George and Patrick were also known for their fruit trees. In 1900, their Mount Hope nursery exhibited 118 varieties of pears at the Paris exhibition, which won them a gold medal diploma. In 1888, George and Patrick donated 20 acres of their Mount Hope nursery, along with hundreds of plants, to the city of Rochester, which resulted in the creation of beautiful Highland Park. In a Noah's Ark-like gesture, George and Patrick donated 2 of every tree specimen in their nursery toward the effort to create Highland Park. 12 years after George died on this day, the Mount Hope Nursery closed for good. Today, Highland Park is home to an annual Lilac Festival, and each year, visitors stroll the grounds to smell the lilacs, visit Warner Castle, and experience the sunken garden. And here are some words that George wrote about beech trees from his lovely book called The Garden's Story. If we take yellow alone for the color standard, the beech is without equal. A beech, indeed, is always beautiful. Its colors still remain attractive in late November, varying from rich Roman ochre to deep brown bronze, and from pale rose buff to lustrous satiny gray. Its harmony is of marked loveliness in winter, a faded elegance clinging to it like a chastened autumnal memory. And here's a thought from George regarding mushrooms from his book called The Pleasures of the Table. Mushrooms are like men. The bad most closely counterfeit the good. And today is the anniversary of the death of the pioneer seedsman and founder of the Burpee Seed Company, W. Atlee Burpee. The W stood for Washington, and he died on this day, November 26th, in 1915. Atlee died at 57, just 2 days after Thanksgiving. As a young boy, Atlee immigrated from England with his parents. The Burpees settled in Philadelphia, and when Burpee started his business, it was at 219 Church Street in the city of brotherly love. Although his father was disappointed that Atlee didn't follow in his footsteps to become a doctor, Atlee's mother was sympathetic to her son's interests. The family loved to tell how Atlee started in business selling poultry with $1,000 seed money from his mother. Atlee handled every aspect of his seed business, from writing descriptions and creating the seed packaging to creating a unique catalog every single year. Before Atlee, sweet peas were imported from England. But by World War I, Atlee sold more sweet peas than anyone else in the world, and he even outsold British seed companies in England. Over time, Burpee became known for Atlee's famous motto, "Burpee seeds grow." As a result of Atlee's dedication to quality and innovation, Burpee became the world's largest mail-order seed company. And the spring of 2020 brought a new milestone to Burpee. As people worldwide experienced lockdowns due to COVID-19, Burpee sold more seed than any time in its 144-year history. And here's a little remembered fact about Atlee, the founder of Burpee Seeds. He was cousins on his mother's side with the legendary American botanist, horticulturist, and pioneer Luther Burbank. In Unearthed Words, today's words are meant to wish all the daily gardeners a happy Thanksgiving. This first quote is from the American author Sarah Addison Allen. "It looked like the world was covered in a cobbler crust of brown sugar and cinnamon." And here's a quote from the English writer, gardener, and diarist John Evelyn. "Chestnuts are delicacies for princes, and a lusty and masculine food for rustics, and make women well-complexioned." And finally, here's one called Thanks from the American writer, children's book author, and poet Aileen Fisher from her work called All in a Word. T. Thanks for time to be together, turkey, talk, and tangy weather. H. For harvest stored away, home and hearth and holiday. A. For autumn's frosty art and abundance in the heart. N for neighbors and November, nice things, new things to remember. K for kitchen, kettles croon, kith and kin expected soon. S for sizzles, sights and sounds, and something special that abounds. That spells thanks for joy in living and a jolly good Thanksgiving. It's time to grow that garden library with today's book, Wall Art Made Easy by Barbara Ann Kirby. This book came out in 2019, and the subtitle is Ready to Frame Vintage Rodute Fruit Prints, 30 Beautiful Illustrations to Transform Your Home. In this book, Barbara shares 30 beautiful fruit illustrations by Pierre-Joseph Rodute, the renowned painter and botanist from the southern Netherlands. The images feature grapefruit, plums, cherries, figs, raspberries, quince, pomegranate, and other fruits from France that were painted between 1801 and 1819. Each 7 by 10 inch image is ideal for framing and can be easily removed from the book by cutting along the lines. This book is 66 pages of vintage fruit illustrations by Rodute. You can get a copy of Wall Art Made Easy by Barbara Ann Kirby and support the show using the Amazon link in today's show notes for around $15. Finally, here's something sweet to revive the little botanic spark in your heart. Today is the birthday of the botanist Ruth Myrtle Patrick, who was born on this day, November 26, 1907. Ruth developed new methods for measuring the health of freshwater ecosystems. Today, the Patrick Principle measures the biological diversity of a stream. The greater the diversity, the greater the health of the water. Ruth learned much from her botanist father, Frank. Looking back on her childhood, Ruth said, "I collected everything, worms, mushrooms, plants, rocks. I remember the feeling I got when my father would roll back the top of his big desk in the library and roll out the microscope. It was miraculous, looking through a window at the whole other world. Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener. And remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day. The Daily Gardener is produced in lovely Wyoming, Minnesota with the help of Paige Mance, Brooke Bierbaum, Kiana Rayleigh, Maddie Doyle, Natalie Decker, and Eric Begay. You can find The Daily Gardener on all your favorite social media. You can follow the show on Instagram, and listeners always have a standing invitation to join the free Facebook group for the show. Just search for Daily Gardener Community the next time you're on Facebook and request to join. All the stories and books that are featured on the show can be found over at thedailygardener.org, thedailygardener.org. And while you're there, be sure to sign up for my free Friday newsletter. Last but not least, you can share your own gardener greetings on the show by emailing me at jennifer@thedailygardener.org. I'm your host, Jennifer Ebling, and as always, have a great day in the garden, and we'll see you tomorrow.